Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Tim in Green Bay. We got Jacob in Wisconsin. We got Emilio in Tennessee. We're going to try to keep his shirt on tonight. We'll see what happens there. But hopefully everybody had an awesome day on this glorious July. About to say January. Don't feel like no January out there. July the 28th. Obviously the first padded practice of training camp. We got a lot to get into. We're going to briefly hit on the Elgton Jenkins return. Obviously, we did a video earlier. You guys can go check out my take on that. I did an extensive deep dive. I want to get the guys' opinion on that. Also, we are going to talk about the Nate Hobbs hit on Marshawn Lloyd, which Tim was kind of flared at training camp. There he was. So we got that. We're going to hit on it. We're going to give you an injury update, and we're also kind of run through some of the tweets from the beat writers earlier today, just giving kind of a play-by-play on all of everything, all the news that happened at training camp practice. So if you guys would first do that YouTube stuff for us, hit like, hit subscribe. If this is your first time tuning in, thank you for making us a part of your afternoon. Welcome into PTA. Listen, we're not experts. We're not insiders. We're not media members. We're just fans, just like you in here talking Packers on a daily basis. If you like live Packers daily content, make sure you hit subscribe. If you like pregame shows, make sure you hit subscribe. If you like postgame shows, you got it, hit subscribe. Film breakdown, we do it all here. So appreciate y'all hanging out with us today. Gents, we doing okay? Everybody all right?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Glad to be here.
Jacob's still in here. This has become a tradition. So bad. All right, it's all good. Here we go. Everybody on the podcast, what just happened? Jacob's blood pressure is off. That's all it is. It'll settle in, Jacob. You know how it does. So, all right, let's dive into the Elgton Jenkins conversation real quick. Again, I'm not going to give my take. Again, I did it earlier on that video. I did a live stream a couple hours ago. I want to get your all's take. Obviously, Elgton Jenkins returned to camp here returned to practice, I should say, for the first padded practice today. A lot of stuff kind of unfolded. Just to briefly give you guys a recap, he said he thought about the financial implications of moving from left guard to center at one point, but isn't anymore. He's focused on being able to perform for the team. He's saying the back injury was legit. He's also saying he missed OTAs because he had a family matter that he had to tend to. So everything he's saying is he wasn't holding out for more money, but he did approach them early on, which kind of lines up with the report. I think Jason Wilde reported on that first. So probably got that information from Elgton's agent, I'm just guessing. But again, Elgton's showing up to camp. Everything's good to go. Also, another thing he mentioned, I want to get your all's take on. Jenkins said he told the Packers last season that he eventually wanted to play center, his main position in college. Said he thought it would help the Packers get their best five out there. Said he took a little while to agree to the switch after team asked him to in the exit meeting. So, again, there's no other way of putting this. I'll start with you, Jacob, if you can hear me, nod. Yeah, you're good, ain't you? You looked at me. All right. So, the main thing that stood out to me here, Jacob, is Elgton going to the team and saying, hey, look, we need to get our best five out there. I can play center. Says a lot about how they felt about Josh Myers, right? Like Elgton could see it, the writing on the wall, like, hey, look, our center position just isn't good enough right now. What's your all's take on everything we just covered? We can hit contract, whatever you want to do. Jacob, go ahead, man.
Yeah, it was actually pretty telling. I listened to that interview with Elgton. And it is, again, just to the media tried to throw a bunch of fire onto this story. And I don't, obviously you guys may know this about me. I'm not a big fan of the media, either side. You know what I mean? So we learned, like you said, that he actually asked the Green Bay Packers organization last year that he could move to center. It wasn't like they forced him to. They asked him, the media today in that press conference really tried to keep nudging him, almost trying to get him to say something that was almost like detrimental to the Packers, asking him if he's worried about a pay cut, all this kind of stuff. I think that what he did was answer it in such a great way, like a regular Packer would, like a consummate professional. He kind of just blew that off and said, I'm here to be a team player. And when the times come to get the money, I'll get the money kind of thing. And I'm more happy than anything that he seems like he's ready to go. That if he did have a back issue, that seems like it's kind of shored up. He had some family stuff, it sounds like, that he had to take care of. And you see the selflessness in a guy like Elgton Jenkins that says, I'm willing to move to center. Like you said, I think he probably did see the writing on the wall with Josh, and understood that our best five, he even highlighted how we got Jordan, how we got Belton, guys that are high draft picks that need to get on this line. And he said, I'm willing to move to center if that means we have the best front five. And I really love that.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, Emilio, I know you've been out of the loop for a little bit. You've been back up north. Did they treat you okay up there, man? You good?
Oh, yeah, I did all right. Yeah, that wasn't used to. Clay, you give people the two hand or the two finger while you're driving to say hello. They get mad at you for doing that up north. So,
do they really?
Yeah. They get they get worried. Like, why are you waving at me? What I do wrong? Running them down.
Oh, what? You act like you know me?
Yeah,
you could act like you know me.
Crackhead.
Yeah.
Got hold to the wrong
Good
stuff.
point there, Tim. Emilio, does this picture not make you feel a lot better just seeing Elgton Jenkins at the center position, dude?
Absolutely. I'm honestly hoping that Elgton could just figure out half of our silent count issue that we had this past year. I mean, I was pulling my hair out the fact that we had those false start penalties, not even able to get the snap count right. You got dudes on different side, even if it's a young guy next to Elgton. I think that he can just kind of control that huddle a little bit more. Because, dude, he is touching the ball every time, just like Jordan Love. I think he needs to kind of have that mentality, have that sort of drive to be like, all right, I'm gonna take control of these front five. These are my guys. We're gonna make this wall. We're protecting Jordan, right? So I do think that Elgton being there is gonna hopefully tie all that together, get him up to the second level. He can do all those things, but and just being the team player that he is, to be willing and able to, hey, I'll move to center wherever you need me, coach. Put me on. I'll play nose guard if you need me on the other side, whatever.
Yeah. Tim, what do you think about this, man? I mean, obviously getting your starting center back in there, and you got a little bit of a look at Sean Ryan. If there's any positive, I think, coming out of this, we gleaned a little bit more information that seems like Jacob Monk has slid back a little bit, and Sean Ryan's going to be your backup center is what it kind of feels like, which I think that's the way it was last year predominantly, but seems like they're going to roll with it that way. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I noticed that a little bit with the team drills too. Sean Ryan was the center for the O-line group for most of those drills today. And then I love this shot right here on the Patreon. I mean, look at the confidence in Jay Money right here, getting behind Big E there at center. This is a good day, man. I've been saying this for a while, that if we can get consistent at the center position, that'll just help Jordan's confidence. And, much to the point of like, let's clear up some of this communication, and you got a veteran there at center now moving over. He can do this. He can handle it. And big shout out to Big E, we can speculate all we want, but at the end of the day, the pads just came on, and here he is ready to go. And we're ready to go bring Lombardi home. And I love it.
And think about that connection of dude already being there. Like, I mean, he's going to be under Elgton Jenkins for, I don't know, probably north of 1,000 times in, the next month and a half. I mean, it's like you got to be comfortable with the dude that's handing you the ball to start the play. I love that Elton's been there and that, he has that pedigree in Green Bay for that.
Yeah, and again, just to re-emphasize here, with the Packers, at least to the best of our knowledge, they did not add any guaranteed money. So if the contract still stands the way that it originally did, what you're looking at is his cap hit this year, $17.6 million. Next year, if they decide to move on, they can cut him. They'll incur only a $4.8 million dead cap, and they'll free up $20 million in cap space. So you got to kind of weigh the pros and cons here at the end of the season. If he plays all pro, you may bring him back for that $24.8. Or probably look to bring that number down by converting some of that $18.5 million base salary to signing bonus and being able to free up some cap space, go a little cash over cap. When you look at the offensive line, according to PFF, they're suggesting it's going to be Rasheed Walker, Aaron Banks, Elgton Jenkins, Jordan Morgan, and Zach Tom, although some of the guys that are covering the team right now seem to think Sean Ryan is in the lead over Jordan Morgan at right guard currently. I'd be okay with that too. I could care less about the draft pick status, to be honest with you. I want the best five out there. And it's just nice to know that you got a first rounder waiting in the wing there. So anything – go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, I saw a couple comments saying that it looked like Elgton didn't say exactly what he wanted to say and that he was skirting around some of the issues. And a lot of people said they're not quite necessarily buying what he was saying, but just thought that he was a team player and he's kind of swallowing his pride. Did you guys get that at all? Did you get that vibe at all? To me, it seemed like that he was a little bit maybe frustrated, somewhat, but I didn't quite get that impression. I think that the guy is, playing through, or is willing to play through the adversity and kind of come out the other side and get that money. Did you sense any sort of that when he was giving his interview?
Yeah, me personally, just to be honest, Jake, dude, I can't figure out what the hell's going on in my own head most of the time. I'm not going to try to figure out what someone actually meant or what they didn't mean. It's one of my pet peeves, not anybody in the chat, but media members going, but he really meant this. How do you know that? You know what I'm saying? So I know this. What I gleaned from everything that was shared today was originally he let them know, hey, love to get some more guaranteed money, a little bit of security moving forward. But according to him, that's not what kept him out of OTAs. That was a family issue. It's not what kept him out of training camp. That was the back issue. So
I'm gonna tell you, like Chris Tucker and Friday, man, why are you always bringing up old stuff?
Listen,
we talk about OTAs. We're at camp. The pads came on. Big E's at center. Hey, all is right in the world. Let's go, right?
He could be lying. I just don't. I don't know, man. I don't enjoy trying to pretend like I understand what someone's saying and they're not really meaning what they're saying. I just, like I said, man, I try to stay away from that stuff. I got too much of me to figure out rather than everything else. But I love what Ed Madden says here. Just glad to see Elgton on the field.
Amen.
And there's no hard feelings either. That's what I love about it. I was a little concerned, will this mess up the chemistry? And that's where I tip my cap to Elgton, because it'd be real easy going in there like, hey, these guys trying to hold some money, money away from me. And I will say this, somebody said earlier on the radio, I can't remember who it was. I think it was ESPN Milwaukee, somebody on there. They were like, yeah, they need to give him his money he's due. Guys, they are. This is what the contract reads. It's not like they're holding money back from him. He's asking for another bite at the apple, a little bit more guaranteed money. So, that's the way the contract was structured. And it seems like that's the way it's going to stay there. So there's your Elgton Jenkins update. Anything else on that, gents? Anything at all?
I just thought this was a funny comment by Fishy Things. He says Green Bay fans have PTSD from years of cryptic Rodgers interviews.
But it's not just Aaron, right? I mean, it's the cryptic interview, right? You don't want to give away too much of the what do they say? You don't want to talk shop in the public eye, right? So you got to kind of use that kind of interview speak sometimes when you're talking.
You know what, Blake B, you can't be saying this stuff. He said Elgton was still disappointed in his last experience at the Oval Office. Wasn't worth the cover charge when it's rusty undercarriage and the third stringers out there. That's not true. We put on a good show. All right.
Breaking news.
Sit your butt outside.
Unbelievable, man. It always comes back to the rusty undercarriage every single time. All right, Tim, if you can get me a screen grab ready. Well, actually, I want to dive into the tempers flaring up a little bit at training camp practice today. The pads go on. I'm guessing it was over 90 degrees again.
Yep.
Listen, you're out there in full pads. Things get hot, boy. People start getting on your nerves, right? But Nate Hobbs was asked earlier in the week. Actually, I think it was 2 days ago, right? He was asked, "Hey, let's turn it down a little bit, turn it down a notch." And I know some fans got upset because Marshawn Lloyd got a little banged up from a hit he threw. We're going to dive into everything there that to the best of my knowledge, the details we could glean from that whole situation. But I want to play an audio for you guys. Tim, if you'll give me a screen grab, I'm going to play this. Okay, guys, this was from when Rodney Harrison signed with the New England Patriots. Okay, when he signed with the New England Patriots, they had let Lawyer Malloy go. Lawyer Malloy was a team captain. All right. So imagine this. They cut the team captain loose, and then they bring in another guy, and the team was pretty upset about it. They were thinking about protesting and everything because Lawyer Malloy meant that much to the team, right? Well, they bring in Rodney Harrison, and you think, okay, he's going to go in there and just let me just tiptoe in here and try to make some friends. Sounds familiar, don't it? Nate Hobbs coming in as a new free agent, right? We're talking about resetting the tone. Listen specifically to how Bill Belichick responded to Rodney Harrison being too physical in practice. And tell me if you think this is a good thing or a bad thing, what Nate Hobbs did today. Because, again, it's all about culture, right? Check this out. You're going to hear multiple Patriots. I wish I could put it up on the screen, but you guys know the copyright thing. I'll let you listen to the audio. Here we go.
My initial reaction is, wow, he's a safety. Man, he's like a strong safety.
We've got a pretty good, strong safety in Lawyer Malloy.
That was Lawyer Malloy's job. That was him that came in with all the big hits and didn't care what people thought about him.
Make no mistake, Rodney Harrison is not here to feel loved.
I came with a laser focus and so much anger. The main guy he attacked and he was on was Tom Brady.
Rodney and Tom going back and forth verbally. Just never seen Tom get rattled that bad, not even in games.
Troy Brown would come across the middle. I tried to run through Troy like he was absolutely the enemy. And then I hit Kevin Falk. And he throws the ball at me. There was fights and linemen pushing me and shoving me and punching me.
And you look over at Bill, and he would be over there with a smirk on his face and just loving it.
All right, go ahead.
Best practice player probably ever. A few feathers. Not in a dirty way, just in a highly competitive way. It made everybody else better.
I've managed to, I guess, make a couple guys not like me very much, but, I don't play the game for people to like me. My mom likes me. That's all I need,
Let's go.
So, again, when you see what happened today, there's some fans like, oh, he's playing reckless. He's going to get somebody hurt and this and that.
Belt ass. BTA.
Yeah. I love it. Belt ass. Listen, we talked for so long about how this defense was soft, right?
Yep.
4 or 5 years ago, it was just like, man, we need Jacob used to say it all the time, right? It's like, man, we just need some grit. We need somebody to get angry out there a little bit, right? This comes in and sets the entire tone for camp. The first padded practice. And let's just go through what happened today, okay? We'll run through it real quick. I want to get everybody's take on it, right? And I had it run down some of the details of the entire situation, it being AI and combing through different articles, things like that, all right? So incident description. During the first padded practice on July 28th, Green Bay Packers cornerback Nate Hobbs tackled running back Marshawn Lloyd low, causing both to land on the ground. Listen, that's a cardinal sin in training camp. Stay off the ground, right? Stay off the ground. That's where people get hurt. The tackle resulted in Lloyd injuring his right leg, leading him to sit out the rest of the practice. This action occurred despite Coach LaFleur's explicit instructions before the practice, where he emphasized not tackling to the ground and keeping players on their feet. The hit happened within the first 3 plays of the 11-on-11 drill and would have been considered a textbook tackle in game. All right. Players
BTA. You know what I'm saying?
And he is saying PTA in case y'all are wondering. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Marshawn Lloyd did not require further examination in the Don Hudson Center and watched the rest of the practice still in his pads. Lloyd did not appear to be limping as he walked around, but the severity of his injury was unclear, as the Packers do not update injuries on the day they happen. All right. Lloyd had previously suffered multiple injuries that sidelined him for most of his rookie season, and it showed promise with good-looking runs in non-padded practice. Love this shot right here, by the way, at Carrington Valentine and Nate Hobbs. These dudes, I'm telling you, they're going to be a menace. I think they're going to be just partners in crime in this DB room. Reactions. So Nate Hobbs was benched for the next series following the incident. Hobbs acknowledged that the hit was not intentional, stating, quote, "It wasn't malicious. I didn't see him until the last second. I got off the blocker. I just saw him. He got low and I got low, and he hit me just as I got low. I didn't get a chance to ask him about it, but I can't do that."
Belt ass. BTA.
Goes on to say Hobbs admitted that being early in the first padded practice might have led him to play with too much edge, saying, quote, "Given it was the first day of pads, I came out fired up. I had that extra gear in me, but I had already been told to tone it down and heard about it again from LaFleur." Hobbs vowed to tone it down, stating, "It's hard, but it's what we get paid to do. By any means necessary, you got to find a way to do that, and I'm going to do that. I know how to do that. I'm not a rookie in the NFL. I can't do it." All right. He said he also mentioned he would continue his physical style in games, but would find a way to back off during practices, as demonstrated when he broke up a pass to Josh Jacobs without running over him, saying, quote, "I just have to find a way to do that." The fact that he's having to really put an emphasis on this, Tim, and turn it off. You ran into him after practice, right? You talked to him. Tell him about that exchange, Tim.
I was going to keep that between me and
Mr.
Hobbs. But,
okay. All right. No. We should.
No, it's all good. I'll say this. I was waiting for the air conditioning to kick in the vehicle because it was pretty hot in there when I got back to the car. And so I was kind of waiting outside, checking the updates. And I'm seeing the vans drive by full of players being shuttled. And lo and behold, I look up and there's Nate Hobbs carrying his own helmet, walking barefoot with his cleats in his other hand, no shirt on, all by himself, looking pissed off at the world. And I had a 2-minute conversation with Nate Hobbs, and let's just say, yeah, it's real. It's not a facade. This guy's the real deal, and belt to ass is the theme for 2025
Belt
for
to
the
ass.
second.
So, yeah, let me get your all's original take here real quick. We'll start with you this time, Emilio. What do you think about it? Do you like it? And listen, it's okay if you don't like it. I get it, man. You're risking hurting players, and we know Marshawn Lloyd was a little banged up. Obviously, he's missed a lot of time. He came out of the gate early in this offseason, and they had to hold him back a little bit already. But what's your take, man?
I mean, I like it, but I was also one of the kids that was trying to crack skulls at all times. But I mean, you got a guy like that. It's hard to tone it back. You're itching now. They've been working out for a month probably plus. You're itching to get some hits. Upper thumps or whatever. Uppers, pads. You're never wearing the knee pads. You're not wearing the thigh pads. All that stuff. Not like they wrap up like that anymore, really. But you get a thud. I mean, if you're off balance and you're Marshawn Lloyd and you get thudded up top and you fall down, I mean, that's going to happen, dude. I mean, you got to kind of practice like you play. So I'm pretty cool, honestly, with Hobbs doing that. I like hitting, and I think that, if you don't come with kind of that mentality, it's easier to, tone it back than it is to turn it up. So I would much rather him have that and not need it than need it and not have it.
Yeah, that's a great point. I was just thinking that we talked about that last night, right, Clay? Like you'd rather have to tell a guy to dial it back a little bit than try and coax that extra little bit out of him, And I think Nate Hobbs will find his way here as we work through camp. Hopefully he doesn't, kill half of our offense before the season starts, No,
and that's it, Tim. And I get what Matt's coming from, right? Obviously he needs to try to keep it, but it's also Matt's kind of sitting in the back of his head like, oh, I kind of love that. I kind of love that he is.
Oh, you know it, yeah.
Like he's still got to, hold his head high for the team. But at some point, somebody needs to take a whooping to kind of, we need to get a hierarchy here just so that you can kind of feel where this team's going.
Yeah. Now, Jacob, I know you were extremely offended by Nate Hobbs and how physical he was at camp. Tell everybody why he was wrong for doing this, Jacob.
Unfortunately, I can't do that, Clayton. I am 100% on the Nate Hobbs bandwagon right now. I want more guys like him. I saw somebody in the chat say if we had, 22 players like Nate Hobbs, we'd be winning championships. I absolutely love that. I love the old school mentality. You know what? This is football, boys. We're wearing pads. We're strapping up. We're doing stuff, and we're not going to be patty caking around anymore. I'm sick of the days of stopping and waiting to make a tackle. I'm sick of the days of not being able to throw the thunder. I'm sick of the days of us not getting bloodied and bruised. Nate Hobbs comes into Green Bay and says, "No, I'm not going to sit around and again play patty cake and practice even." Exactly. I want to see. I wish that the other guys would do more of it, to be honest. And I think that he's going to be a tone setter, and that's what we need. We need somebody that, we got a tone setter in the linebacker room. We got one in the defensive line. Now we need one. We got one in the safety room. Now we got one in the cornerback room, and I'm excited about it.
Jacob, do you remember those first days of right after two-a-days and everything like that, and you finally are putting on pads? It's like, dude, I'm so mad at that dude for making me run sprints the past 3 weeks. Me, Oklahoma, let's go.
Hey, I'll never forget this. I know it's a stupid side story, but we were in practice and there was a guy named Eric Vandenheuvel. You can look him up. He's massive. He's like 6'7". He went to Wisconsin on a full ride scholarship, played all 4 years, and I decleated this dude on a walkthrough kickoff scenario, and the coach almost killed me. But then the defensive coach came up and he's like, "Hell yeah, dude! Hell yeah!"
That's a great point, though, Jacob. Like you said, man, we've been waiting for this since last year, right? I mean, maybe even 2 years ago when we got this comment.
Yeah, our guys better wake up with their piss hot, like I said before. So.
And we are a far cry away from that secondary that we had a couple years ago. And I think the piss is definitely hot in Green Bay right now, and I love it.
Real hot.
Sure. Yeah, so reading along here, this was not the first instance of Hobbs being overly aggressive in practice. He had previously put a heavy hit on wide receiver Dontavion Wicks in a non-padded practice, which drew a lecture from LaFleur about toning it down. The Packers signed Hobbs for his physical style of play, which was evident during his 4 seasons with the Las Vegas Raiders, where he was known for doing everything to prevent receivers from catching the ball. Hobbs is expected to play a significant role in raising the level of physical play in the secondary, lining up as a starter opposite Keyshawn Nixon at outside corner. Given this is his 5th training camp, there is an expectation for Hobbs to know better and adjust the intensity during practices, as he acknowledged. Quote, at the same time, this is the 5th training camp. He should know better. He's got to learn to turn it down in practice. I wonder how Jeff Hafley feels about this. I bet he's just over there grinning just a little bit. So here's the outcomes. It says Hobbs was benched for the next series as a direct consequence of the tackle. Obviously, we talked about that. Lloyd's participation in future practices remains uncertain pending further updates on his injury status. Hobbs committed to adjusting his approach to practice to align with team expectations while maintaining his physical style for the games. Save it for Sunday, boys. Save it for Sunday, but give us a little bit every now and again. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong with that. Robert in the chat says, Alexander Ravines.
Alexander for the Ravens didn't practice because of swelling in his knee today. Double check that on NBC Sports. Jair misses practice with knee swelling. Ravens expect him back on.
Who?
Expect him back when?
Tuesday. So that's tomorrow. Hopefully it's a quick turnaround, but I don't know.
Yeah, listen, I don't wish any ill will on Jair. I know Emilio doesn't, Jacob doesn't, Tim doesn't. But man, if it does prove that, hey, look, he just can't get the knee right. I mean, we've seen it before with Bach, and that sounds a little bit like Bach, right? How it kept swelling up. They'd have to drain the knee again.
That's pretty early for it to swell up.
What's that?
That's pretty early for it to swell up.
Right. No, that's a great point. I will say this. He had nothing but positive things to say about Green Bay in his first press conference with Baltimore. So I don't want to come across like, see, Goody got it right. But early kind of feels like he might have got it right. You know,
Heard it
and
from a fan right here.
I was the one saying for $6 million, let's bring him back, you know, but that may be $6 million we end up saving. So, all right. Anything else on the Nate Hobbs situation, man? Again, I'm excited about Hobbs. I'm not expecting him to come out and play all pro caliber. What I am expecting, though, is you're getting a physical corner who's not going to make a whole lot of mistakes, right? And someone who I think is going to be available for the most part, as long as he don't knock himself out of the lineup being too physical. I really, really think essentially what it's coming down to is we missed Jair for more than half the games, right? We talked about they missed over 50% of the snaps the last 3 years, I think, on average or whatever. So essentially Nate Hobbs is replacing Eric Stokes is the way I look at it, because we still got CV, we still got Keyshawn. That's a hell of an upgrade, boys. Hell of an upgrade from Eric Stokes to Nate Hobbs. I'm really excited about.
Hold on, Clayton. I'm getting something in my ear. We got a quote from Nate Hobbs. Hold on.
Built to ass. BTA. Know what I'm saying?
We do know what you're saying. Celestial Prophet with Super Chat. Thank you, buddy. He says, my son's speech therapist dad is Lynn Dickey. Really? That's pretty cool. Here's the guy. There you go. I remember Lynn Dickey. Kidding me? I think we got a jersey to give away, actually. Lynn Dickey jersey to give away this year. That'd be a good one.
I got my Dickey right back here.
Jacob got one with a mustard stain. He wore an autographed Lynn Dickey jersey to the football game. I said, this dude's legit.
That's the OG number 12. The first number 12.
I definitely did get mustard stains on it, though. They're not coming out.
Jacob, was there any Daddy Soda's drink that day, do you think?
I don't think I did, but I also can't remember anything that happened that day. So
I don't remember.
Don't worry, nobody's listening anyway.
Celestial, thank you for the super chat, brother. Appreciate you. All right, moving along. Let's get a little injury update. How's that sound, gang? I got to be honest with you. Tim, you may have more inside information than just this tweet from Wes Hodkowitz, but, man, things are looking pretty good so far, right?
Yep.
Packers training camp number 5 returned to action. Offensive lineman Elgton Jenkins with the back, he did the individual drills, and then linebacker Quay Walker with the ankle did individual drills as well. So they're both one step closer to being fully back, right? And then did not participate, to the best of my knowledge, was only wide receiver Christian Watson with the knee, defensive end Colin Oliver with the hammy, and then offensive lineman John Williams with the back. It's starting to look like a red shirt year for John Williams, and hopefully Colin Oliver, we can get him into the lineup at some point. But I feel like the offensive line's to the point where a 7th-round pick in John Williams ain't that big of a deal if he does just kind of red shirt this year. But keep in mind, we don't have any information on Marshawn Lloyd yet. It sounds to me, based off of everything that was tweeted out, he left practice, or he left the practice field but stayed on the sideline. So he didn't even go in and get treatment or anything, right, Tim? Is there anything else injury-wise, Tim, that might have caught your eye here today?
I think real quick with Marshawn Lloyd, I mean, my wife was an athletic trainer in her former life, and she made the observation that maybe it's like a contusion or a bruise, just got a kind of a stinger. So I'm thinking Marshawn Lloyd's fine. Clearly they didn't take him in for anything further, so he'll probably be fine. Colin Oliver, you mentioned, we've talked about him numerous times, a guy that's fully engaged. I hope the hammy's doing well. He seems to be kind of on the cusp of them letting him get involved here at some point. So keep your eye on number 45. I believe he's wearing 45. And Quay Walker progressing along really nicely. Clay, you got a text from me this morning. I got excited when the boys ran out and they started doing early on, warm-ups. The ones were running with the ones, and I saw Quay out there at the mic, and I thought, oh my goodness, he's got pads, he's got a helmet. Is he going to be a go today? And lo and behold, they pulled him back, and he was working with the rehab group the rest of the day. But Quay Walker is progressing pretty nicely. So, that's about as much of an injury update as I could really give you guys based on what I've seen. And then obviously Christian Watson, we know, the unspoken truth is he's way ahead of schedule. It's important for us not to get ahead of our schedule and give him time to get back. But certainly I think Christian Watson will be back sooner than expected for sure.
Yeah. What about you, Jake? If I could pull those injuries back up, I'll rattle them off to you. This is just video of Quay. My man looks healthy, does he not? I mean, look at the ankle. There's no limitation there at all. It doesn't seem like they're just easing him back in. I'm excited to see Quay and Coop work together this year for sure. Jacob.
Yeah, no, he looks like a monster right now. He looks real good. I expect him to come out and have – I do expect him to have his best year. I really do this year.
Mm-hmm. Emilio, you got anything else on the injury front here, man? I mean, this seems kind of too good to be true. Seems like in the past, as soon as we start camp, we got like 12 injuries. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I was listening to Matt's presser there real quick before I got on. He was just saying they were like asking him, anybody from like the PUP or anybody like that coming back? He goes, yeah, Elton. And just left it at that. Like, Matt is just unbelievable. Now I love him. And Goody was talking about the tackle, John, right? He said Goody was kind of saying in his presser that that's probably going to be a little bit more long term. I honestly think he's going to be on the injury list, and I think he's going to go in as a pup player on the team. I don't think they're going to square that away before the end of training.
I think what you'll probably get there is they'll just throw him on IR. He's done.
Yeah, there you go. Probably right? Just to get him through. Because if we can get him past cuts and he's still hurt, I mean, put him on IR, then we'll figure it out from there. That's my take on that one. But I love to see every day. I'm waiting to hear from Tim on Quay's update. So I just can't. I love it.
Yeah, no, that's kind of how I see it. Just go ahead and put him on the IR, right, mm-hmm. and just call it a year. And not like he was going to compete. I don't think he was going to compete for playing time. You never know.
It's busy up there. You got my boy. He's hooey. So I don't want to be taking reps away from my man.
Who's your boy? What do you? Who?
No need to say it. Everybody knows it.
Who that? Who that?
What you got, Jake?
I just was curious about your guys' opinion on this. Mr. Fishy Things. Well, I don't know if it's a mister, but I'm assuming. He says, Peter Bukowski seems to think Green Bay is interested in Wilkins. I don't see it. Anyone else buying that?
What was his source, Fishy? Did he give a source or did he just say, I think Green Bay's in?
I personally wouldn't be interested. What do you guys think?
Yeah, so the Christian Wilkins thing, and again, we're kind of talking about injuries here. We may come back to it in a minute and have a little bit deeper conversation on it. He's done some questionable things on the football field. If you just go to Twitter and type in Christian Wilkins, and you'll probably, if you just click media, you'll see him sticking his hands where they shouldn't be on opposing players on the field and stuff. So yeah,
you can't do that.
He's kind of a
especially in the
different.
club.
Yeah, he was checking people's oil right there on the field. You know what I'm saying? So you got that aspect, and then it was said on the Pat McAfee show by Adam Schefter that the reason he got released was, and this is Adam Schefter saying this, I don't know how far it went, that he kissed a teammate on the forehead and it pissed him off and he kicked him off the team. So in the locker room, he walked over and kissed the teammate on the forehead. So I don't know, again, and Peter Bukowski, listen, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on that other than I hate it when people go, I think Green Bay's interested in him or that. Okay, what? You don't have a source? You're not even going to say a source?
Don't worry, nobody's listening anyway.
There you go, yeah.
I don't listen too much Taylor Swift.
We just had a super chat. Let's hit that real quick. Sorry. Nodak, Mike, good to see you, buddy. Says Malik Willis has looked really good in camp so far. He has, to the best of my knowledge, everything I've seen. He's kind of going up against the backups for the most part. Wildy was actually on that side of the field when he was reporting earlier today, and he said it was kind of the backup players on that side of the field, and on the other side was the ones it sounded like. So I've said it time and time again, man. I'm really, really excited that Malik Willis is our backup quarterback. But thank you for the super chat there, Mike. Appreciate you. Jake, do you have something else? I've seen you over there giggling.
I'm just laughing at the chat.
Yeah, I'm with you, Coach.
Coach Lynn, I'm with you, man. Yeah, we got a problem, man. I'm a grown-ass man, dog. I'm a grown man.
And I got to be honest with you, man. I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to. The person who's saying that Packers have interest in him, they could sign him. They could. But the person who's saying that the Packers had interest in him actually had a run-in with John Kuhn on Twitter before because John Kuhn called him a drama queen, and then he came back and tried to get John Kuhn canceled. Yep. And then John Kuhn, of course, found the receipts where said gentleman had tweeted the same exact thing out a couple years prior, and he ended up looking like an absolute moron for trying to get John Kuhn canceled. John Kuhn beloved Packers, so yep. I just say careful who you listen to. I'll just leave it at that. But anyway,
she said Murph. Stop it,
Murph.
Oh.
Holy, chat is spicy tonight, bro.
Well, listen. Let's just move it along. Anyway, that was your injury update. Somehow, that was your injury update. Thank you, Jacob. I appreciate you.
It's my fault. Sorry.
Was that you, Tim? Tim, did you?
No,
just
that was definitely not me. I promise.
That was definitely Amelia. Look at his face right up.
Oh, we're gonna give him some.
All right, so there you go. There's your injury update. I don't know how I'm gonna edit all that together for a video.
Coach in the chat.
Thank you so much, Jacob. Appreciate you, buddy. You're always keeping us right on topic here. I'm going to pull up Tim's feed here real quick because you got some really good shots here earlier, and then we're going to get into all the camp updates that we have. All right, so what we got right here, Tim? I know you were surprised you were over on the defensive side of the field today, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hold up. AFM's mom says, "I'll take the forehead kiss."
Not with that forehead.
No,
that's a 5-head, not a
that's
forehead.
That's a 5-head. Yeah.
God almighty. Sometimes I wonder, why the hell do I do this to myself? Why do I even log on and do live streams? You know what I mean? Seriously, that forehead right there, you need some ointment for that. There's no doubt about it. But all right, go ahead, Tim. What are we looking at here, big dog?
I was going to say, I think you might be able to run audio on here. There was no music in the background. You can just kind of see Coach Covington working with the guys here. They kind of split off. They were working, inside and outside technique, kind of in tandem. And then you see Rashawn Gary working, getting a retape here towards the end. But really keep an eye on Baron Sorrell.
Let's go back to that. That's Baron right there, right?
Yeah, 99. Dang. I mean, look at